Today's video will be matching up one of the most famous horror icons, Michael Myers from Halloween, the year 1978, which contains Halloween 2, versus Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2022. Time to settle this debate, let's start. Let's kick this off with one of the main categories first. Strength. Let's start off with lifting strength first. Let's look through Leatherface's feats. He snaps an arm, snaps a leg, and lifted a girl up with a chainsaw, and you know, all of that typically would sum up to Class 1. Now let's look at Michael's strength feats. Here we see in the book of 1978, he crushed a skull, and in the book of Halloween 2, he was directly stated by the author to be able to tear a human limb from limb. And it's definitely not exaggerated, because he literally rips off an officer's arm in Halloween 4, which is around Class 25. So Michael pretty much takes this point, which makes the score 1-0. Striking strength. Now this one isn't even close, I'm sorry, but Michael blows him out easily. I really don't recall Leatherface having any good striking strength feats, other than the leg snap. Meanwhile, Michael punched through a human stomach and even breaks down a reinforced door, which is more impressive than anything Leatherface has done in this movie. Now before any of you say the books aren't canon, this is an official novelization that was written under the screenplay. In fact, here's a clip of the writer of H6 acknowledging that the books are connected to the movies.
Might as well, but there's a really great prologue to the novelization of the first Halloween, Curtis Richards is the pen name, but it's a 20 or so page backstory of Michael Myers, going all the way back to his family's origin in the Druid times. And how his soul kind of went on and on and on, and it never died. And I used a little bit of that stuff without drawing on it specific.
So now that's cleared up. Michael takes this point as well, and it makes the score 2-0. Durability. Now we know durability is one of the most important categories in battle. And once again, this one isn't close either. Like, come on now. Leatherface's best feat is surviving crash. Michael tanked an explosion. Wait, let me break something down first. Many people say that explosion led him into a coma. Nice joke. Tell me you haven't read Halloween without saying you haven't read Halloween. It is stated that his body wasn't found in the hospital, clearly implying he wasn't knocked unconscious by the explosion. And it's stated by Loomis twice in the book that he was waiting, and even says it on the cover of the book that he's been waiting 10 years for Jamie. I'm not even going to get into all the ancient druid things about the curse going inactive and whatever. I've been explained that. One last clear up, because people love to undermine this explosion. Loomis would have died right here, as it's stated, if he didn't have any medical attention. And Michael takes this point, which will be making the score 3-0 now. Can Leatherface catch up? Let's find out. Weapons. Yeah, there's pretty much no point in explaining this. Leatherface has a chainsaw, and Michael only has a knife. Well, really just a scalpel in this movie. So yeah, Leatherface takes this point, making the score 3-1 now. Combat, Abe might have to go with Leatherface on this one. I feel like he's a bit more skilled than this Michael. But I wouldn't say Myers is non-combative. He still took out guards in H1, but I'm gonna go with Leatherface, making the score 3-2. Abilities, genuinely, I don't recall Leatherface having any abilities in 2022. Really, while this Michael simply has regeneration, he has more. But regeneration is enough to take this category. So Michael takes this point, leading the score 4-2. Now we have speed. This isn't close, neither it's actually funny. Leatherface is not faster than Michael just because he runs. I don't see Leatherface disappearing quick from an eye without blinking or moving faster than a camera in slow motion, that it couldn't perceive his skill on tape. Like his best feat is catching up to a slow-moving car when they thought he was dead, which doesn't even come nearly close to the feats I just said. For Michael, he takes this point quite easily. That makes the score 5-2. Now we have attack potency, one of the main categories in battle. Once again, Michael takes this point. Punching through a stomach and breaking through a hospital door is a lot stronger than just breaking an arm or snapping a leg. Like way stronger, you can even search up a calculation for breaking wooden doors. It typically comes up to 300,000 to 500,000 kilojoules. No further explanation for that point. Michael takes that category, making the score 6-2. Power. Now let's take a look. Both characters, Leatherface is bigger than Michael, yes, but that doesn't mean he has more power. Aggression? Yes, but aggression isn't power. And we all know he doesn't pack more power in his hits than Michael, which was already proven in the earlier categories. And another thing is, he literally has the power of Thorn if you want to go to that timeline, or simply he has his own supernatural in the age 20 timeline. Either way, there's really no hope for Leatherface. Finally, we got the last two categories, which is stamina and endurance. Now, this is kind of a close one. Leatherface was actually shot with a shotgun and drowned, I think, which is pretty impressive. He stayed alive through that, unless if he just has good breathing control. But on the other hand, Michael was stabbed in the eye, the groin, shot 12 times in the chest, fell off a balcony, shot twice in the eye, which would penetrate the brain, and was even caught in an explosion and still had the strength to walk while on fire, and still was able to walk out of the hospital, which requires much more stamina and enduring for that kind of pain. I think Michael takes these two categories by a long shot, and that makes the score 9-2. So who would out of Michael Myers from the year 1978 and Leatherface from the year 2022? Michael, and it's really not even close. Like, you sure, Leatherface is bigger, more intimidating, and more aggressive. But what does that mean against a supernatural opponent who outperforms you in almost every category and outmaneuver you? This pretty much wraps this video up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.